let's now attack some of the issues that await President Obama in his second term. Probably Iran is among the most important. Some people believe, and I think there's evidence to bear it out, that the sanctions have certainly had an impact on Iran. To what extent do you see some kind of a deal on Iran's nuclear program coming to fruition in the next couple of months? There's a lot of political turmoil in Iran as we speak. How do you see this issue playing out?
Well, I'd have to really do guesswork here, but I will do so. And my suspicion is that the Iranians are committed to creating a nuclear device, and that not a lot of pressure is going to deter them from doing that. It coincides with their interest in the region and their own national security interests as they see them. I would think that pressures from the United States or from Israel are not going to change that, even though the tone of the conversation may be collaborative and so on. So it does seem to me that in the end, President Obama is going to have to face the issue of living with it or attacking Iran. And those, neither of those is obviously very attractive. Should he or should the Israelis attack Iran with U.S. acquiescence, I think it could be hugely disruptive politically and militarily in a very important part of the world that includes not just Syria and Iraq, but the Gulf as well. And so I don't know what the answer is for the Iranians or for the U.S. concerns about a nuclear weapon in Iranian hands, but I think this is going to be one very difficult issue to manage.
Anthony Clark Arend, do you think that a deal could be struck, that Ayatollah Khamenei may be ready? To what extent do you think this can be contained, so to speak?
Well, like Carol, I really can't look too much into a crystal ball and tell you exactly what's going to happen. But if I had to predict, I would agree with Carol. I think that Iran is intent on developing a nuclear device of some kind, and I think they're going to move forward in that direction. I don't think they're going to be responsive to American pressure. I don't really think there's anyone that can put that kind of pressure on them that will lead them not to develop a nuclear device, nor do I think there's an acceptable deal, at least under current political conditions, that they would agree to. My sense, and this is not something that is a wonderful option, but my sense is that the United States is going to have to be able to deal with a nuclear Iran. I think the option of an attack against Iran would cause all the problems that Carol mentioned, potentially horrible terrorist blowback that one can't even begin to predict. I think there's no indication that we or Israel or whomever would strike Iran would be able to get effectively at all the sites, and I think it would be just a horrible conflagration in the Middle East and in the region. And so my own sense is that the United States and the rest of the world is going to have to deal with a nuclear Iran, try to deal with it in a way that makes it manageable, less of a threat than it potentially could be. But I think a military attack against Iran would be foolish, would be ill-advised, and would be very destructive.